Watches and Wonders has just come to a close. There are tons of new pieces out in the world now. So we wanted to round up our industry friends for a bit of a recap roundtable to go over the highs, the lows, the best in show. Let's hit it.
It's obviously that one brand.
Rolex and what they would come up with.
Everybody wants to see what Rolex has in store.
Just one of the very few brands that does not deliver the news upfront under embargo to us. So even for us, it's a surprise what Rolex will release.
They had a couple of major anniversaries this year, and so I really wanted to see what they were going to do with the Daytona.
But I'm equally excited for some of the horologerie brands. Angelus, for example.
As a Cartier fanboy, I was most excited to see what they did this year. 2022 was such an innovative year for them, and they have so much potential for reinvention in their archives. This was definitely more of a classic year for them with nothing too surprising, but sometimes you just want the band to shut up and play the hits.
I went straight to Lusnadang. The reason why is because I knew that they introduced one watch only, the Freak. And I was not disappointed at all. I mean, look at the booth, it was just amazing. You literally stepped into the amazing movement of a Freak. That was very enjoyable and every expectations were met.
Without a doubt, I think the Rolex Day-Date puzzle with feelings sort of replacing the day mechanism and emojis replacing the dates, that just sort of seemed to come out of nowhere, drew a lot of attention.
Well, Rolex, of course, with their jigsaw day date. That was something that nobody expected.
The new day dates, I like that there's no day and there's no date. I think it was funny. I like the OPs. They're also funny. I like the display case back. Wow, so original.
I'm a fond of colors and I'm a fond of Oyster Perpetual because I think it's a very classic watch and it's, it has no date and it's really pure. And to come with colors like that, like they did like 2 or 3 years ago, but with bubbles, I thought it was really special.
And this is just a reminder that if they want to make a bold move, they certainly can and they will.
My big surprise of the show was to realize that Rolex actually has a sense of humor. Rolex is so conservative that when they come up with something out of this world, it just blows your mind because it's Rolex.
But I also didn't expect the 1908 watch from them, the more dressier timepiece that replaces the Cellini line.
Rolex has been the main driver behind steel sport mania the last few years, and it's worked pretty well for them. So I was happy to see them make a tasteful and restrained dress watch, because they certainly didn't have to. If money was no object, I'd be walking away with, or rather putting my name on the list, for the new JLC Reverso Tribute Chronograph.
Reverso Tribute Chronograph. I thought it was really amazing.
I've always been attracted to the Reverso, but I've often felt that it was too simple or too underutilized.
It has these two faces. One is very classical, with a dark dial. I think it's black. Very classical, very Jaeger-LeCoultre. And then you turn, and in the back you have this amazing mechanical story going on.
It's business in the front and party in the back, and I do mean that in the best way.
Washington Constantin Overseas Moon Phase Retrograde Date. It's a really beautiful timepiece. I feel that the Overseas model line kind of grew on me over the last few years, and this new model is just really mind-blowingly beautiful.
I would say it's an expensive purchase, but it would be the gold Rolex GMT Master.
I think I would be most tempted to purchase the Rolex Yachtmaster. It's always really exciting to see Rolex extending into a new material in titanium. I think, despite the fact that it runs at 42 millimeters, that some people might consider on the large side, with that material on wrist, it should wear pretty well, and I just really like the color tones and hues.
It's probably the Tudor Black Bay GMT White. And I wasn't really the fan when I saw it on Instagram, but when I tried it on, it really changed my mind.
I mean, the whole Black Bay line is just amazing. It's been amazing since the very beginning, but the 54 line just makes a lot of sense. It's 37 millimeters like the original, from 1954. It looks amazing on bracelet. It looks amazing on rubber strap. It even looks amazing on a textile strap. And Tudor is just, year after year coming up with great, beautiful, well-crafted watches. And I think at that price level right now, everything is making sense.
I am loving the new Zenith 5 Revival Shadow in that kind of sandblasted titanium case. It's clean and funky, which is a really hard combination to do. It's got great lines, great details, and it's surprisingly cohesive for what on paper is a 1970s style anthracite gray titanium geometric anomaly. But it works.
Oh, I'm going to purchase for sure the ProPilot X Kermit edition from Oris. And I thought this, flashy green touch of color is so cool, especially when you're wearing something very formal and maybe a bit boring. I can't wait, to be the first of every month just to see his green little face. It's funny, it makes you smile and it's different and I like it.
If I want to talk about a watch I hate, I'd say the Rolex Day-Date puzzle dial. But this question is more about dissatisfaction than anger. I really want to like the new IWC Ingenieur. The dial is great, the case is not Gento's strongest work, but the grade 5 titanium is a nice touch. I do take issue with the price point.
As soon as I picked it up, I felt this is not a 13K watch. I think they need to address the bracelet, they need to address the clasp. In my opinion, I think they should not have done the crown guards.
IWC is late to the party for this watch and they didn't make it as good as it could or should have been.
And I think there they missed it. They missed it in the details. And I feel that's a pity.
So to borrow a phrase from my parents, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
They're going to kill me for being honest, but they know that deeply inside of my heart I love them. Is the Pilot by Zenith. I was a bit disappointed because the Pilot, the one they used to make, I'm a big fan. And I didn't find any of the things I like about the Pilot in this new Pilot.
I think for me, the watch that maybe missed the mark was the Jacob & Co. Billionaire. I think it's an extremely impressive watch in terms of gem setting, and with a tourbillon, there's impressive watchmaking there. But I just kind of question the choice of name there. I don't know how many billionaires would actually wear something like that. So I think the Tag Heuer Carrera Plasma Diamant de Avant-Garde, it's really a very neat watch in a lot of different ways. There's some lab-grown diamonds there that are in prominent positions, one on the crown, which is extremely unique. And then I think it was very bold for the brand to replace their actual badging with a lab-grown diamond. It certainly is avant-garde and sort of pushing frontiers.
I think people should talk more about the Hermès H08 chronograph, because I think they did, in terms of design, they did an amazing job, because the case between the difference between the automatic and the chronograph is really light. There's the dial is still very clear and legible, and I think the mono pusher is a very elegant touch.
I love the glass fiber composite case. I like the 4 colors that it comes in different fun, young, kind of hip, trendy colors. It's typical Hermès, the shape, the overall look, the DNA is there. It's just a fun piece, and it was very exciting to see it, and I think it's a very cool watch.
Yeah, I feel that it's the Tudor Black Bay 58 with the burgundy bezel. I mean, people talk about it, but I would expect a little bit more talk because they slimmed down the case. It's a master chronometer certified watch. It's now also available with the Jubilee bracelet.
I had to dig a little bit for this one because no one's talking about it. It's the Parmigiani Fleurier Tonda PF Hijiri Perpetual Calendar. That's a lot of words and it's a lot of watch. We got a fully platinum case with great architecture, a manufactured movement, and in a world of terrible dial typography, this one really sings.
For me, it's Tudor. Maybe not every watch, of course, but that's 80% of the stuff that I've seen from Tudor. I really loved it. I love the new Black Bay.
I think Tudor came very strong with the Black Bay. They really have an icon there, and they're doing a great job in making this watch, this collection evolve.
I'm not even a Tudor fan personally, but they're improving on their hits. They're actually listening to their fans. And maybe most surprisingly, they've released a 37mm diver that people actually love.
It's a bit too small for me, but it's still a super nice, it's a wonderful timepiece really for somebody with a smaller wrist who wants to experience the sports watch feel in a smaller case. The 54 is a great watch, so I think overall for me, home run, it's Tudor.
Parmigiani with their Tonda PF models, that was really strong. Those watches are really impressive.
My vote goes to Cecily Coulter. They were concentrating on the reversos. They had the multiple lacquered dials. You could tell. I mean, even if they didn't tell me that it was 20 layers of lacquer, you could just tell the depth of the lacquered dials of it. I think everything Cecily Coulter did during Watches and Wonders 2023, not only having a beautiful booth with water coming through the middle, they also just, again, emphasized what a sexy line the Reverso is.
For me, I think the strongest brand was Chapek and C with their Antarctique offerings, 4 different versions. The brand had actually had to close their order books because of so much interest in the Antarctique, and so I think it's the right strategy to look and say, this is what our collectors want. We're going to offer more of what they want, and we're going to be able to reopen the order book as a result. So my hat's off to them for those decisions.
And man, if I was single, I would have lots of phone numbers from guys, because people are so attracted to this watch.